legends, J. Cole, I have a gift for you here, a guy that you brought out. You brought out Petey.
Well, I brought him out of the show, but he brought Carolina out. You know what I mean? This man put North Carolina on the map. You know what I mean? At a time when we probably didn't have no national recognition, he gave us an anthem that was still rock to this day. It's called Raise Up, but you probably know it as North Carolina, come on and raise up, take your shirt off, and it's feel like a helicopter. You know what I mean? True legend, Carolina legend. We're grateful for this man right here, and extreme talent, like extreme talent. We was with him one night in New York. Randomly, we ran into him, and we all ended up going out. And this nigga just kicked the verse randomly, like, and it was the coldest shit I ever heard in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, Petey Pablo, like, you know what I mean? Like, immense talent right now. If you need a verse from him, he gonna fucking destroy that shit. So shout out to Petey Pablo.
And Chico, here we are at Winmark Studios. Ebe, can you call out the name Ebe?
I can call Ebe, but I did just get off the phone with him. I think he's out getting food. Yo, Ebe! Ebe! But Ebe is a legendary, he needs to be here. He should be here. Ebe, you should be ashamed. It's not right here.
I have a gift for you and Ebe right here. Some Allen Iverson jewels.
Ooh, 40 bars.
This is important to you guys, wasn't it?
It's crazy. This was a huge moment in rap history, in NBA history. Yo, he's saying the wildest shit on here. You know what I mean? To think that
the album never came out either.
Yeah. Oh wait, this is this is just the single.
The album never came out.
Yeah, but the single came out and they were like, nah, you can't put this fucking album out. He was saying, like, he was talking like DMX or some shit. He was saying raw as shit. You know what I mean? This was like one step too far for the NBA when AI dropped this. However, I can't say he actually had bars. You know what I mean? I still remember this to this day. Shout out to AI.
It's got an instrumental on there as well. And I was wondering, Ebe, beat selection, what help with Ebe?
What do you mean?
Like, could he listen to the instrumental and say, hey, cool, go after this?
Yeah, you could tell me right now to go write a verse to AI song, and I would be challenged. I would have to go do it.
What's the importance of Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12 and 1:30 with you and Ebe?
Oh, that's what me and Ebe used to battle each other on the basketball court freshman year of college. Me and Ebe knew each other, like, you know what I mean? How you know somebody on campus? Because we played ball together. I see him walking around, like, on the strip. But, I really wasn't rocking with Ebe. He looked like Fabulous. He dressed like Fabulous. He wore his hats like Fabulous and his jerseys. And I thought, who's this guy trying to be Fabulous? You know what I mean? And he probably looked at me like, yo, who's this country Carolina dude that think he nice on the basketball court? So we were like rivals on the court. We had a lot of good games against each other. But me and Ebe got tight later on in college.
So Ted, right? Ted help?
Well, Ted is the fact that you shouted out Ted right now is crazy. Shout out to Shot Good. My boy Shot Good. Yeah, Ted was somebody that I was cool with on the court. Me and Ted always had like a good boy when we played with each other. So Ted is easy, man. 100 grand, you know what I mean? Like they were school together, middle school, you know what I mean? And we knew each other all through high school. And shout out to Ted.
I remember this before you and Ebe, an original Harlem Globetrotters 45 from 1949.
Wow, we just have the
Correct. From 1949.
we did it from 1949. Wow. How'd you get this?
You're J. Cole. We have to get you something.
Thank you.
I was basketball, but you're also a player for the women's team, a practice player?
Yeah, that lasted about a day. I don't remember how that came about, but I think they saw me playing in like rec every day, the 2 days and Thursdays, and whenever we played like pickup basketball. And they're like, hey, we need to come and like, play, like basically be somebody that plays against the women's team. Like, I think I did it for a day. I'm like, man, I can't do this, man. I got to take it. Besides the women's team, it was nice, man. We got to do it.
Well, you really appreciate the old school, like shout out to PD, etc. And a documentary that you checked out. Big Fun.
Big Time in the
Big Town.
Big Town, which is a fire hip-hop documentary.
From 1986.
Yeah, I watched it a few years ago. That was came over here to Harlem. They were interviewing like Kentucky Fresh, you know what I mean? like Biz Marquee. That's a real good watch. Go to YouTube to watch that. Big fun in a big town, right? And it's the perspective of these white Dutch dudes who were coming and captured the hip hop phenomenon, right? And they went and put on these legendary rappers who are the trailblazers of what we're doing right now. And it was just really great insight. You know what I mean? If you got time to go on YouTube and watch that, highly recommend.
And one of the people that they interviewed, and I have a gift for you, J. Cole, right here, was Schoolie D, the legend Schoolie D.
Schoolie D. So I'm not a hip hop historian, don't claim to be, but from what I know about Schoolie D, a lot of people say he had like their first gangster rap record, right? Like
PSK, here it is.
PSK, Parkside Killers or Park Slope Killers. Some they was killers. They was killing niggas in PS. It was PS Killer. And so yeah, so a lot of people say he had the first gangster record. You know what I mean? I'm not a historian, so I'm gonna just run with that. You know, maybe somebody had one before him. You know what I mean? But I don't know. They say that's what they say. So shout out to Schoolie D. You know what I mean? You in your lineage. First of all, you gave us a classic all-time record. You know what I mean? But you influenced a lot of people. And in your lineage, we have you know, a ton of classic records that may have caused a lot of damage to our community. That's for debate. You know what I mean? But that's not your fault, brother. You're just creating your art, and we appreciate your art. Thank you. You know what I mean?
In this record, check out the booklet and the sticker, if you could pull it out right there. There's some history, so you can read some history, and check out the booklet as well. And on the booklet, at the very bottom, we see
a TR-909. Okay, what do you know about TR? Because I have a little story about the TR-909.
Please go ahead.
Well, the TR-909, every day when I was 14 years old, I used to beg my mom to get me a beat machine, right? Why? Because I noticed that with Bomb Shelter, right, who I told you about earlier, I really wanted them to give me beats, right, because they had beats and I didn't know how to make beats. And once I got with them, I realized they're never going to give me their best beats, right? They're going to keep the best beats for themselves. They're not going to give it to me. They're artists on their own. So I realized I got to make my own shit, but they're never going to give me their best. So I asked my mom every day for a beat machine. I didn't know shit about beat machines, so every day we would stop at McFadden Music on, it's not Yakin, maybe it's like, Yakin turned to shit. I'd have been gone too long. I don't even know what the hell it turned into. Not McPherson Church, turned to some other shit, right? McPherson Church, I don't even fucking know. But it was McFadden Music, right across from Edwards Music, you know what I mean? And we would go to McFadden Music, and they had beat machines in there. And I ain't know shit, but I used to every day on the way home from school, because I went to 71st Middle across town, and the bus didn't come to me, I would have my mom take me to this McFadden Music so she could see how much I really wanted this beat machine. And I would play with what I thought was the beat machine I wanted, the TR-909. I used to play with this shit while I was in there, you know what I mean? But what I realized was that wasn't for me. Nervous Wreck helped me see that what I really wanted was ASR X Pro. Now, most people that use the ASR, you know what I mean? They use the ASR 10 with the keyboard. Beggars can't be choosers. The only thing they had in McFadden Music was this red ASR X Pro, and shit. My mom was down. She put that shit on layaway. She paid that shit off for a whole year, and took it out, and I had my ASR X Pro.
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan was a CD, you know what I mean? Or they had CDs that my mom had downstairs.
Dire Straits.
Dire Straits. Damn, bro. Yeah, hell yeah. I must have said this in some interviews long ago, and my man he's a scholar. He does his research. These are CDs that my mom had. My mom, hella eclectic. She'll go from Mary J. Blige to Eric Clapton to Dire Straits, who I didn't even know existed until I started fucking scanning through her CD collection looking for samples, you know what I mean? So shout out to my mom for having amazing taste in music, and yeah, thanks.
Speaking of samples, J. Cole, I wanted to give you another gift right here, the legendary Ultimate Breaks and Beats compilation.
This is a very, very rare and secretive record right here that I only discovered recently. Maybe it wasn't so rare in the 90s, but you know, it's harder to find as you get a little older. I've never seen the physical record, so this is fire. But hella fire breaks on here, you know what I mean? Like
Donald Byrd.
Yeah, Donald Byrd. But see the names, I don't think they're named though. That's the thing. That's the part, right? Like
64, actually 66 to 84 drum breaks. A lot of drum breaks.
Mad drum breaks, but it's vague about where the initial source is, right? So I sampled something off of here, and there was a conflict who said they owned it. You know what I mean? So I feel like I ended up paying two people because there was like conflict on, you know, who they said owned it. But regardless, if you don't mind sample clearance issues, fire, classic, legendary breaks on here. Explosive, Dr. Dre, Explosive. You hear them drums and Explosive? Comes from here. Dre might have replayed them, you know what I mean? I'm not sure, but the essence of that, he might have said it was green, I don't know, but it's from here, Dr. Dre, Explosive. You know what I mean?
J. Cole, and to honor Breaks and Beats, the ultimate Breaks and Beats, I have a gift for you right here. They made an ultimate Breaks and Beats doll. They made a doll.
That's fire. Was this a top seller when it dropped?
Just came out. It's actually a doll.
Oh, that's crazy. I know.
Nowadays, a doll.
It's a new thing.
Yeah, a brand new doll.
Impressive. Well, thank you for this. Thank you for this. I never thought I had one of these.
It's like an incredible series, and now they have a doll. It's incredible that they did this.
I didn't know that they were so getting back so lit, you know what I mean? So that must mean more people are finding out about this, you know what I mean? If they didn't already know about it before, that's dope.
And also, J. Cole, I have another gift for you right here. It's Double D and Steinsky, the history of hip-hop. From 1985, basically the history of sampling. Something possibly that you could listen to.
Is this the one that has, is this actual talking on here, or is it mad sounds on it?
All the sounds.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, the history of sampling, pretty much.
Yeah, that's fire. Thank you for this. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'll get into this.
I thought perhaps something to sample on the turntable.
On the J Dilla, rest in peace to the GOAT, the J Dilla turntable. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. You always bless me with some gifts. I appreciate that. Thank you.
J. Cole, Prince, eBay.
I was gonna say eBay, but I'm like, no way he's gonna say eBay. Like Prince eBay, okay.
Brandon,
Costner.
Kenneth.
What's Kenny's last name?
Gastina.
Gastano, I think, or something like that.
The Patriots.
Yeah, shout out to the Patriots basketball club.
Yeah, what was it like playing with Prince?
Fire.
In Africa.
He's a monster. Prince is a monster. Shout out University of Texas. That was my teammate. You know what I mean? My first professional teammate. Prince, Brandon Costner. You know what I mean? Kenny. These are my OGs. Shout out to everybody in that squad, though. You know what I mean? Everybody. I really rock with y'all.
I noticed you were number 15, the same as high school. What's the deal with 15?
The first jersey I ever owned, like fly-looking jersey, was a Carolina UNC jersey that my cousin gave me, and it was the number 15. And this was before Vince Carter, so I don't know how I had this jersey, but then Vince Carter was on Carolina, and he wore number 15. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say it's based on Vince Carter, but I had 15 Carolina jerseys, and Vince Carter immortalized it, so this is always my favorite number.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you, Omar.
Omar, he trained you, didn't he?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Omar is the reason why I got out there, more reasons, for more levels than one, you know what I mean? We worked out this morning. Omar should be here. I think he's with Eve right now. Omar! He's
Not here.
He's not here.
You almost dunked in the NBA All-Star game.
I did, in the celebrity game. It wasn't an almost. I did. It was a real dunk. I gotta go back and watch. There's a real two-handed alley-oop from Kevin Hart.
During, actually, maybe when you were sitting on the ground, you were wearing a huge sweater.
Oh, you're talking about that All-Star game when I was older.
What were you wearing? What were you wearing first?
What was I wearing? A hoodie, a tie-dye hoodie that was fire. I was wearing some windbreaker type pants.
What type of shoes?
They were some Pumas. I think they were Clyde. Clyde type thing. I don't even know. I'm not sure, but I was wearing some Pumas though. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You almost dunked, but didn't quite.
Yeah, I almost made it. You know what I mean?
Was it the clothing?
I think it was the fact that I didn't stretch, I wasn't warm, I was some, what was I wearing? Was I wearing some tennis shoes? Yeah, I was wearing some tennis shoes. I don't know you know what it really was? If you go watch the replay? The ball. I didn't have a good grip on the ball. So I'm up high enough, but you see if you watch it in the snow, at the last second, the ball kind of moves. And if you got it, when you're playing basketball, I had that wide grip, that Michael Jordan grip on the fucking basketball. And I didn't have it. And missed it.
And you are J. Cole. Winding up here, J. Cole. We are here at Winmark
Recording
Studios. Previously, I talked to you in 2010 at Fortune Sound Club in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
I remember that.
Well, thanks so much, J. Cole. Keep on rocking in the free world and do-do-do-do-do.
Dude, yeah, I was waiting on that one, baby. Nardwuar! He's just gonna stand there for like 20 minutes. It's great. I want to see when it cuts off. Like that's what it like. When does it cut off?
It almost didn't happen, but you recognized me. Like you were walking up the stairs with, "Hey, Nardwuar!" But the interview almost didn't happen.
Why? Why did it almost not happen?
I'm not sure, but thank you for recognizing me.
No problem. Did somebody was supposed to set it up and maybe the word didn't get to me?
We're just waiting there patiently, but then you saw me and then the interview happened. Thank you.
Oh, you're Nardwuar. We have to do interviews.
And I was thinking, looking back at that interview, you loved the No ID record. So I thought I would give you a No ID record. What can you say about the No ID record?
Say, shout out to Dion. We've talked about this, how he put an album out. I think that's pretty legendary, you know what I mean?
66 to 84 drum breaks. A lot of drum breaks.
Add drum breaks, finding out about this, you know what I mean? If they didn't already know about it before, that's dope.
And also, J. Cole, I have another gift for you right here. It's Double D and Steinsky, the history of hip hop. I
didn't know that they were getting back so lit, you know what I mean? So that must mean more people are finding out about this, you know what I mean? If they didn't already know about it before, that's dope.
And also, J. Cole, I have another...
RPM, history of hip hop. I've never heard this shit.
A song that you never heard before. Lesson 3.
Right here, the legend...
I don't see the same album cover that Nardwuar handed them, but
Oh, you got your first cubic crate? Welcome to the club. These rates aren't just amazing STEAM projects.
What we're gonna do right here is go back. Way back. Back into time. Back into time. Back into time. Back back into time, back into time.
Classic. The ultimate breaks and beats compilation.
This is a very, very
skilled people who come from where I come who are not here right now.
You are Jay-Z.
Oh, I thought you meant like who am I? I thought it was a deeper question. I thought my name is Jay-Z. Yes.
yeah, that's the first time I had saw you, and of course, as all man, we got you. Thank you for this.
How did you, J. Cole, discover me? Like, how did you recognize me in 2010?
The first time I ever saw you, which is probably a lot of people from my generation, was that interview you did with Jay-Z, where Pharrell apparently set it up, and I thought that shit was so cool. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy right here? You know what I mean? Like, who are you? And then Jay gives this long ass answer. You know what I mean? And you're like, no, you're Jay-Z. He's like, oh, you wanted my name? Oh, yes, my name is Jay-Z.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm a young man from Marcy Projects who really made the thing that thing that they say the American dream come true, because I'm not supposed to be here speaking to you. You know, there's a lot of people that come from where I come. There's a lot of skilled people who come from where I come who are not here right now.
You are Jay-Z.
I thought you meant like who am I? I thought it was a deeper question. I thought my name is Jay-Z. Yes.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw you. Of course, there's all people who see you. Maybe somebody first time see you right now, and they're gonna go, "Who the fuck is that guy? This is really cool." And then they're gonna do like I did, dive into all your old shit. I've seen you sing, you know what I mean, with Pearl Band on the floor, and then backstage at the show. I've done my YouTube dive. You know what I mean? Legends, so we have to do that. You know what I mean? And we appreciate the work you've done on documenting this culture, this music that we love, but also diving into the nooks and crannies of all the stories that I wouldn't even think of anybody would ask. So basically, talking about things back, you know what I mean, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I never thought that I would say that out loud. You talk about Southview High School, you know what I mean? I used to play these boys and really get them work, you know what I mean? Shout out to Tyrone Davis. He dunked on these niggas so crazy. We all went so, it was that hard, it was a Terry Sanford. Tyrone cocked back, had the whole place erupted against Southview High School, and you brought them up. You know what I mean? And I get a chance to talk about it right now because of the work you do. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it, J. Cole. It's really inspiring. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. We need you, man. Nardwuar. We need more Nardwuar interviews. You know what I mean? My man just said, yo, I haven't seen a Nardwuar interview in a while. This is going to be pretty big. And I hope that's the case. We need to see more Nardwuar interviews.
Winding up here lastly, J. Cole, Earth Gang. Earth Gang.
Earth Gang, one word, Atlanta, Georgia. The truth, the future.
Are they here? Earth Gang.
Earth Gang's here.
Can we try?
Should we go, look, should I grab them?
Maybe you could yell.
Premium. You can watch as many videos as you want without pausing for ads. Get into what you're into with ad-free videos. Try it on us.
Earth Gang! Yo, can y'all open that door?
Such an incredible lineup on Dreamville. Ari, JID, Boz.
Yes. Omen, Luke, Earth Gang. We said Jid, Kaz,
And a lot are here at the studio.
Boss.
It's winding up here, Jacob. What are we doing? We're yelling people's names in hopes that they come in here. No Eve, though.
Yeah, this nigga E, man.
No Jay-Z or Kanye.
I call him? He might be in the building. Yeah, Jay-Z and Kanye acting real, and Andre,
Earth Gang are, so maybe we'll try a game.
yeah. Oh, Lou! Ian! Wow, great! Earth Gang! Hey! Oh, man! Ladies and gentlemen,
First off, J. Cole, could you please introduce who's in the studio right now?
Well, in this room right now, we have legendary Chicago MC Dreamville legend Omen right here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's good, Narwa.
And who do we have right there?
Well, we have Atlanta's own Westside. Westside. You see, I got that right though. That's how much I rock with it, nigga. Westside, big Westside energy. We have Atlanta's own futuristic black excellence, art, experimentations, no limits on what's possible as a creative. Earth Gang.
Yeah, exactly what he said. All those things. Hey, y'all.
And Earth Gang. How did Earth Gang meet J. Cole? Was it through Ab-Soul?
Okay, I see you doing the thing you be doing. That's it. You throwing it up, yeah.
What happened?
We was on tour with Soul. Cole pulled up. I remember we was in the green room. Eve had peeked his head and he was like, yo, Cole upstairs. We was like, who Cole upstairs? I was like, oh, that's cool. We went upstairs. And then Cole was upstairs. And we took a picture with him. That shit went in it. While we was talking, Cole was like, yo, we y'all been recording that? We was like, nigga. He was like, well, if y'all want, y'all can pull up. And it was simple as that. And like, he didn't even say, oh, y'all need this Dreamville. Now he was like, y'all can pull up and record. So yeah, he was like, yeah.
Yeah, and even before that, shout out to Tunji. Tunji sent me, he was just like, yo, here's some people I thought you might like. And Earth Gang was one of the artists. This was like 2013 or something. And he sent me the link. I checked shit out. I was like, damn, they fired. But I wasn't in a position to like reach out. Dreamville, we wasn't off the ground. We were still, you know what I mean, in the infancy phases. And it worked out. Shout out to Ab-Soul. Boss was on that tour. I came to see him. I seen them. And then who was out there with them? Jid. Jid was on stage with them, you know what I mean? Like hyping them, and he spit a verse, and I was like, all these niggas is raw.
Facts. Jid was our roommate / co-host list at the time. And we just, you know what I'm saying, we was all homies. Like, man, I ain't been going to it without my dog, so we all just knew.
I will say this. This ain't the Earth Gang interview. Like, we gonna talk. They need their own interview. Omen needs his own interview.
Well, just quickly here, I was wondering, Omen, how did you meet Earth Gang?
I met Earth Gang through Dreamville affiliation. They're one of the few, actually, since they came on later. I met them, I want to say...
I was at the shelter, bro. Yeah, first I can think of, you was like walking through the shelter.
I was telling them how legend, like, y'all know the shelter's a rap, right? I thought, yeah, it's a rap. We should have did something a little more, you know what I mean? It was just over. Honestly, bro, I was renting that spot for 6 years. And then, you know, we got a lot of shit out of the shelter. That shit made for hella memories for us and great.
That was crazy. That was a crazy time. My favorite time of my life was in that shelter, bro. It was super transformative time of my life.
Definitely.
How'd you meet that shirt?
How did I meet that shirt?
It's an amazing shirt, like the drip, like the Air Maxes are crazy right now. They going crazy, like you don't see this right here. It's real like circle, you know what I'm saying? Like this the Atlanta swag where niggas was just putting shit together, like match this with that and match this with that. Like you
right now, you really a freaking nigga right now, bro.
you really out there on Abernathy right now.
Thank you. Actually, got this shirt from Bourgeois Angels in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. A great store. Thank you for acknowledging me, and thank you also for hanging out and recording with J. Cole.
Yeah, facts.
Well, thanks very much, Dreamville. Keep on rocking in a free world. Earth Gang and Omen and do.
Wow, that just happened right here. You just do. That's crazy.
Quote, J. Cole, I get that basket and grab your clothes out of the...
Oh, is this fucking clothes?
Of the clothes.
You know, I get that basket and grab your clothes. I don't know. Give me the rest.
That's what it said.
Oh, get your clothes. Yeah. I wanna vote. Shout out to Steve Lacy on that guitar. Yeah.
Song about doing laundry. That is incredible.
Have you ever heard it? Have you?
She takes a picture,
There's no
and in
way
that picture is this ET.
What the fuck?
He puts the camera over in that direction, and everyone looking in that direction at that moment saw it. You can make
Whoa, check out the view.
N1 said Raul will be down here. He better be.
What the world?
Watch all of my exclusive content not featured here on my channel. Log on to my website at I'mJustHereToMakeYouThink.com/films. In today's society of America, there is an identity crisis with so-called Black Americans only that I have been exposing ever since I joined YouTube to present publicly verifiable evidence along with historical documented information that our people are not familiar with, in hopes that we may correct this nail-biting major issue amongst ourselves as one whole community. Ever since the 1960s, our people were slowly adopting the historically derogatory term Black as a descriptive means that refers to us as a group of people benevolently, by way of young children who were college students under the influence of indoctrinating school curriculums, various religious beliefs, and of course, political correctness.
When I was growing up, to call a person of color like myself or others Black was considered derogatory. That's just a fact. You know, you call somebody Black, those were fighting words. Those were fighting words.
Hey, Kevin Bacon here, and I want to give you a chance to win a fully restored...
Out my previous documentaries, I've shared detailed information concerning the reasons why the term Black should not be associated with us as a descriptive means. And in this segment, I will prove why those so-called Pan-Africanists stemming from the mid-1900s and beyond are royally incorrect with their most popular outlandish claim that our ancestors and their offsprings of today are of African descent. In order to comprehend and develop an understanding of what I'm about to mention next, one must allow themselves the opportunity to think freely, without any restriction, hesitation, or any form of negative influence based on their own personal beliefs. Because this is not about what you may believe. This is strictly about what you know and what you are willing to find out on your own. For starters, our eldest family members of so-called Black American households only did not inform their grand and or their great-grandchildren about being descendants of African slaves that were allegedly captured by small waves of anonymous palefaces who were pirates of sailboats and later cargo ships. This story sprung about around the 1950s by way of school teachers and college professors whose sole job was to indoctrinate the mindsets of the children who were sent to these federalized institutions in order to learn about their history from strangers. The old saying around this time period that is still popularized in use today was to never trust a stranger. But of course, we can all see that school teachers and college professors are somehow an exception from this general rule, being as though they carry the responsibility of teaching the next generation up, who are the students that are forced to learn about everything they teach uncritically. And unfortunately, that also included their history. And then these same children grew into their adulthoods, regurgitating these same stories about their history that they learned from their teachers and not their individual families, which has caused a generational identity crisis within our communities systematically. To prevent this major issue from reoccurring, we must swallow the pills of truth, no matter how difficult it may be for some to do so, by debunking the various pseudo-theories surrounding our identities that many of our people have adopted as their history. For example, many of our people today have been led astray by various self-proclaimed street scholars of Pan-Africanism ideologies, theories, and outlandish claims of the 1960s, without questioning its accuracy or validity of whether it's right or wrong, or has any truth to stand on to begin with. You will find a few of these actors and actresses fighting hard to keep their pseudoscience afloat amongst our communities by latching themselves onto various trending topics that will arise and converting their opinions from that trending topic into their true agenda, which is to continuously campaign the Out of Africa theory in hopes that more people would join their We Are Africans diaspora movement for their own personal monetary gain. Ever since I created my channel and brought the truth to the public's attention, people who have been heavily invested in capitalizing on our people's ignorance concerning their true identities have created various slander campaigns against me in hopes that I'll fade away, or shut up, or even join them or assist them by keeping our people in the dark and get paid for doing so. But as many of you know, I did not cave in, and I have pasted my foot on the gas pedal with super glue with presenting the truth to the public. And over the years, I have assisted thousands of our people with identifying themselves for who they truly are, and have presented undeniable truths with multiple sources of publicly verifiable evidence concerning what really happened with our people here in America, aka Turtle Island. And so now, many of you are coming after those people who are banking on the ignorance of our vulnerable people not knowing their true identities. And the truth is finally being promoted, delivered, and accepted, no matter who likes it or not. So, since one of these individuals of the Pan-Africanist ideology stated yet another false claim and attempts to belittle our people but knowing just who we really are, I'll be sure to arrest him right now with the absolute truth.
Nah, I'm not going to entertain you indigenous Negroes today. See, the word indigenous is not an indigenous word. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know the word aboriginal is not an aboriginal word? Did you know that? So you want to keep on having these intellectual punching matches. You want to intellectually masturbate words. You want a word fight. You want to fight over words. Well, here's a little word fight for you. The word Africa is older than the word Aboriginal and Indigenous. Let me say it again. The word Africa is older than the word Aboriginal and Indigenous. Let me say it again. The word Africa is older than the word Aboriginal and Indigenous. Furthermore, the word Africa comes from the original Nile Valley tongue of our first ancestors, Africa, and it means, under some interpretations, birth of man. What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? And it means, under other interpretations, from the Spirit of God. What the hell are you talking about? And there's multiple interpretations of the word Africa, but what we all understand about Africa is that it is indigenous to Africa. It is aboriginal to Africa. It is native to Africa.
Talk more shish in a little bit. Back to Mother Africa. That's bullshit. You do not know a goddamn thing about Africa.
The word aboriginal comes from a white man, and the word indigenous comes from another white man. The word Africa comes from a black man.
Now look, what he just stated is called misinformation.
One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough about the subject to know you're wrong. There's like a gazillion hours of me on the internet. In almost every case, I'm talking about the universe, black holes, the Big Bang, time travel, God. But what I'm going to do in this masterclass is teach you how to think. The goal here is to train your mind how to see the world differently, how to question what others say. I've come to realize that there are three categories of truth: personal truth, political truths, and the objective truths that shape our understanding of the universe. The interesting thing about an objective truth is that it's true no matter what. Imagine that. By the time we're done, you will be equipped with some of the methods and tools so you can turn data into information, information into knowledge, knowledge into wisdom. We all...
Simply because it is not true at all. The name Africa was not historically referring to the entire landmass that Americans call Africa today. In fact, the name Africa is derived from the indigenous Afri people of Carthage, which is a small ancient city within the Kingdom of Tunisia that later became known as Africa historically. It neighbored other Berber inhabited locations like Tunis, which is the largest city of Tunisia, Algeria, Rome, Morocco, and especially Libya, being part of the Maghreb region along the Mediterranean Sea. These Afri people of ancient Carthage were historically known to be of pale-skinned complexions, adopting much of ancient Roman traditions, cultures, and spiritual practices over the years. According to National Geographic, as ancient Rome, which was Carthage's neighbor, Mediterranean, grew in power and expanded, a conflict between the two civilizations became inevitable. The rivalry between Carthage and Rome eventually erupted into the three Punic Wars, fought on land and sea. And when the smoke cleared, Carthage, along with the entire landmass of Tunisia, was captured by the Roman Empire in 146 BC. The Netherlands was part of the Roman Empire during this time period, which indicates that Dutch-speaking Afri-Berber people inhabited Carthage before and after its government's collapse for 500 years, until the invasion of the Arabs during the 7th century. Large groups of these Africans migrated to the southernmost regions of Ethiopia during the wars, and even today they refer to themselves as Afrikaners, paying tribute to their ancestors of Carthage, along with other Roman European landmasses like the Netherlands. And their Dutch-inspired native language is called Afrikaans, which was brought to the southernmost regions of what Americans call South Africa today by way of Protestant settlers of the 17th century. So now you know for sure that a so-called black man did not create the term Africa. And that shouldn't matter anyway, whether if it was created by a black or white man, because you're still spreading false information, no matter how you put it. And if these stories were true, which they are not, that our teachers in school taught us concerning our identities being of African descent, then that means the story must change from stating that our ancestors were captured from the west coast of Africa and then brought to the Americas by way of the slave trade. Because the original inhabitants of what we call West Africa today did not refer to themselves as Africans in any way, shape, or form. But the people of Libya referred to their landmass as Africa, and even the Latin definition of the word Africa confirms that. The out of Africa theory is just that. It's a theory, an assumption, a guess, an idea, a thought that has never been proven, merely because it has no truth to stand on. This is why the government wants you to believe that our people came off of so-called slave ships from Africa, because they will continue to expand their foreign empire right here on our true motherland, right up under our noses, literally banking billions off of our people's ignorance about who they truly are. But this all stops right now. I'm just here to make you think.
When we were kids, Superman was our hero. One of the things that our sensors can do
If you're interested in game art or game development in general, you've probably heard of Unreal Engine. It's one of the most popular engines for amateur and professional.
Is one of my favourite games of all time, which I know is quite over opinion. No one's ever said that before on the internet. But with Cyberpunk releasing last year, it's now taken that role of feeling like that good boyfriend your mum had before she married your stepdad. It's welcoming, funny, emotional, addictive, warming, and isn't afraid to touch you on the gooch every now and then. Does it still hold up? And do I still love it 2,404 days later, however? Yes, of course I do. It's a fucking masterpiece. It's timeless. Welcome to the life of Geralt of Rivia, a slayer of monsters, a slayer of ghosts, a slayer of beasts, a slayer of pussy. This man cannot be stopped. In his off time, he enjoys warm baths and banging this brunette mage called Yennefer. Speaking of bangable... Here's Vesemir, who's decided now is a good time for a kip when Geralt has left him in charge with his surrogate daughter, Ciri. Not only was this a dangerous decision because Ciri could have been kidnapped or eaten by a wild beast, napping in a lawn chair is a surefire way to long-term neck problems, Chief. Ciri, determined to master her training, is keen to show off her acrobatic skills like that annoying child at the family barbecue who does gymnastics. What a shame it would be if you landed that corkscrew front flip a little bit wrong and slipped a disc in your back, eh? Things go from wholesome to intense pretty quickly though, as when it starts snowing, a giant floating boat appears out of nowhere. But okay, it was just a dream. You see, Geralt's reality is a lot more depressing, as at night time he's not cuddling with Yennefer, he's spooning with Vesemir to sustain warmth. We are actually looking for Yennefer though, in this cheap little rundown village, where I don't know why a mage who has the ability to teleport would choose here of all places to hang out. It's like being given the opportunity to go on holiday anywhere in the world and going, yeah, fuck it, we'll go Croydon. I'll tell you who does hang around here though. Absolute unit friends who just devour horses for lunch. Old matey who owned the horse is of course devastated, but honestly, with a trim like that, I'd be crying too. Like and subscribe if you think bowl cuts should be brought back as the civilian norm. We pop into the local pub because bevies are on the house, and also to ask around about Yennefer's whereabouts. No one is more knowledgeable than a divorced middle-aged dude who hangs out in a pub all day. I'm pretty sure they know everything there is to know apart from how to sustain an erection and make women orgasm. This bald dude tells me a Nilfgaardian scout has seen her recently, even going down to the details like how she smelled of lilac and gooseberries. Not sure why he knows what my girl's vagina smells like, but we'll blow over the detail for now. With the information...
Right now, I may not be able to travel to Japan, but that is okay because Boxu brought Japan to me.
Beautiful, delicious subscription box. Boxu sends authentic Japanese snacks right to your door each month. When you subscribe to Boxu, you get a different themed box each month, and for your first month, you get Seasons of Japan. Highlight of super amazing snacks representing the best flavors of the 4 seasons.
And if you're like me and you can't read Japanese, never fear because Boxu actually sends a super gorgeous booklet guide that tells you all the details about each of the tasty treats that you're getting.
I love a lot of these snacks are made by small Japanese family businesses that have been making these treats for years.
So you feel like you are actually getting a authentic taste of Japan.
If you love travel to Japan, or if you love delicious snacks, this box is for you.
We needed, me and the old Vessi boy exited the pub, but outside there was 3 dudes waiting to fight me, as apparently I'm a freak. This feels like school all over again. We get into a small tussle, but luckily for me, they all have chins worse than Cody Garbrandt, so I was able to wrap this up pretty swiftly. I couldn't help but notice though that one of the guys also had a cat defending him, which puts me in an unfair advantage. So you know I had to do it to him. I whip out the silver sword and hit a swift 31 crit on the cat, which wipes it out. I also find this kid who's either found his dad's speed stash, or he's on the biggest sugar rush of his life as he's doing rings. So obviously I attempt to take his head off with a right hook, but he's protected due to being a child. This is bullshit. I don't want to kill the kids in a game, I just want to knock them out. Has no one ever considered parents? I mean, every now and then you must want to just knock out your child. Surely someone should make a game for that pure reason. Surely child abuse cases would be dropping by the millions. Or it would just increase child abuse, but that's a thin line that you've got to walk in order to make a brave new step for the world. Anyway, on my way to see the Nilfgaardian scout, I come across this woman who's honestly a bit of a baddie. I proceed to do 1 damage, then realise I am severely underleveled for this encounter, so I make a tactical exit on the northern west side into some bushes, also known as being a bitch. When I eventually arrive, I notice a small group of people doing push-ups on the beach, and it's nice to see Nilfgaardians value the mental and physical benefits of exercise. I meet old matey, and of course he's not just going to tell me where Yennefer is. No, I have to do a favour for him first. It wasn't exactly a small favour either, like taking his elderly mother grocery shopping or giving him a DIY vasectomy. No, he asked me to take out the griffin in the area. I mean, what do I look like? Someone who slays monsters for a living? Luring in a griffin is surprisingly close to luring in a stoner. You have to learn what star sign they are, information on their whereabouts, and then crack a herb nearby and they'll come running. I find a Nilfgaardian patrol who was slaughtered by the griffin and then follow the trail to the griffin's dead wife. Geralt makes an inappropriate observation about Shaft, which is unfair, because you can't really judge someone's shaft when they're dead. It would appear they made love before the wife died, which sounds brutal, but is actually quite common in nature. Praying mantis, spiders, snakes, Ted Bundy, they all do it. With some information now gathered up the griffin, it was time to go get myself some herbs. It's weird how herbalists have gone from people in quaint cabins to the geezer in the flat below you who play FIFA with and occasionally take his kid to school. The herbalist is a lovely person, but tells me that she doesn't actually have any buckthorn, which is what I need. However, there is some growing and a little river nearby. So before I go, I quickly admire her, herbs, then go for a quick dip without even changing into appropriate swim gear. Geralt, mate, I'm gonna catch a cold running around like this. Buckthorn acquired, and fresh out the water I hear an old woman calling for help. When I go over, she explains in a long-winded story that some man took her frying pan and it's now locked inside of this cabin. This is really what defines Geralt as a man. Yes, he might save villages from monsters. He might have a baddie like Yennefer. He might be one of the finest swordsmen in the land. But helping an elderly woman get her frying pan back shows his true values. There's a dude tied up and dead in the corner, but not my problem. My problem right now is returning the pan, which is exactly what I do. And of course, in true elderly woman fashion, she gives me some food in return. What are these double standards? When a sweet old lady offers you food, you clearly accept. But when I stand outside of school and offer people candy, apparently I'm trying to molest them. What the fuck? I go back to the pub to meet Vesemir, and while I've been out working hard, reclaiming pans, he's been sitting around getting the bevy in. He's picked out a nice spot of land for us to take on the griffin, so I brew a couple of potions, which back in the 1200s were the original performance enhancers. Good thing this game isn't based in Russia, or they'd be all over me, getting nicked in the middle of the street for a fucking alchemy diagram. Seaboy quickly whips up a fake-looking sheep to lure the griffin in, and if this whole being a Witcher thing ever gets old for him, he sure does have a future in an independent Etsy store selling fake sheep. The Royal Griffin is unsurprisingly quite an aggressive fighter, so it's a good thing I packed a couple loaves of bread in my bag. Yes, I might have a severe laceration due to its 10-inch claws, but a couple of slices of this and I'll be fixed right up. The battle rages on for a fair while, but once low on HP, the Griffin retreats. I attempt to chase it down and roach, but unfortunately actually have some trouble mounting my horse, as someone at CD Projekt Red thought making the sprint button and interact button the exact same button was a good idea. Eventually my small brain figures it out, and we re-engage with the Griffin, eventually taking it down with the help of a tiny crossbow, which I'm sure made a huge difference. Geralt goes ahead and beheads the Griffin as proof it's been slain, and no, he doesn't use the giant sword on his back. He instead opts for the kitchen knife you'd use to cut up some vegetables. On my way back to the Nilfgaardian outpost, I noticed that the lads are still doing push-up. It's literally been hours. I thought they were just committed to staying in shape, but this is taking it too far. Muscle burnout is no joke. Before I talk to the main man himself, he's sending this peasant to get 15 lashes as punishment for rotten grains. It's weird how lashes used to be a punishment, and now it's just a bedroom kink for girls whose dads left them when they were a child. He's pretty pleased that I got the job done, so in return for that, he tells me Yennefer has actually been just in the next region over, a day's ride away this entire time. He then asks if I want to be paid for my work, and of course I want to be paid for my work. Do I look Turkish to you? I say that because when I went to Turkey a few years ago, it was my birthday and we was all really drunk at a restaurant, and this dude at the restaurant just drove us home. I tried to give him money, but he just refused to take it. It was one of the most wholesome moments of my entire life. I hope he's doing well and hasn't been, like, radicalised or something. So after a hard day's work, there's nothing better than a cold one with your boy in the pub. Well, there is actually, but I doubt anyone here folk on them. What they do have, for sure though, is an attitude problem, as this woman disturbs the peace by bashing the barmaid's face into the bar, which seems unnecessarily aggressive. This then sparks a few lads to get rowdy with Geralt and Vesemir. Don't get me wrong, I've heard and experienced liquid courage before, but they're really out here thinking that they can fight two witches with giant swords with their wooden clubs. A severe miscalculation on their part, and one which we just roughen them up a little bit for. My I'm kidding. It gets extremely brutal, and Geralt is out here dismembering heads right in the middle of this cute little pub. So leaving this poor woman who's just had her nose broken with 4 bodies and a fair bit of blood to clean up before she leaves work, Geralt and Vesey head outside and are greeted by none other than Yennefer herself. We've spent all this time looking for her, and she decides to show up now when we've just murdered 4 probably fairly innocent dudes in the middle of a pub. It's not the best look for us. There was no time for chit-chat though, as we had to ride for Vizima immediately. It was a chilled ride. We caught up, I told her I'd been dreaming about her and our white-haired child, and she didn't run away, so that's a positive. Out of nowhere, the piece is once again disturbed by these teleporting masked bony boys, and they slaughter everyone we're riding with. Yen gets them off our trail by destroying the bridge, which should really do a lot to stop people who can teleport. Why can everyone teleport in this game apart from Geralt? That seems really unfair, my boy. We somehow make it back to Vizima alive, and wow, what a turnaround this has been for Geralt. He went from helping elderly women get their pans back to being bathed by 3 women in a castle. He even gets a fresh shave, sitting in a bath towel that's honestly more like the size of a tea towel. Why is it so short? It's one of those risky ones where if he takes a seat you could easily just see full-blown ballsack. I mean, especially for a guy at his age. It's like going to your mate's house and their dad's just walking around in a dressing gown and nothing else, and you're just on edge all the time about them possibly slipping out a ball. We hop into a tasteful black tunic and go and greet the king with a bow that looks more like he's suffering from severe heartburn. You really need to work on that form, Geralt. Anyway, a long cutscene short, he wants me to find his daughter Ciri, because apparently she's back. That's very vague information off to our whereabouts, but sure, I'll see what I can do, Chief. Maybe she's posted a couple cryptic return tweets on Twitter. So with all that professional business out the way, it's time to go to the reason why we're really here. Yennefer, and hitting them walls once again. She, however, says she doesn't have time and just leaves through a portal without me. I've fallen asleep mid-sex, so that must have been pretty bad, but having someone literally teleport to another part of the planet just to avoid intimacy with you, that's rough. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more Witcher, let me know down in the comment section below. I've wanted to make a video on this game for so long, but I just haven't because you've either played The Witcher and you love it, or you either just aren't interested, so no one really gives a shit. So that I thought, before the new series comes out, it was the perfect time to do it. I'd really appreciate a like, it helps me out a ton, and if you find yourself here consistently, then consider subscribing as well. God, I'm so awkward at this, I hate asking people for things. But thank you guys for watching, I really do appreciate it. A big shout as always to the Void Boys, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. I just want a massive shout out to my lovely Void Boys and above, Gerardo Cruz, Bjorn Van Den Hatter, The Gamer Teg, Zyphon Productions, and Ghost Warrior 38. Thank you guys for your support.
I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe when we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. Google it. They spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So they spread this thing out. This got a huge movement. It's a pterodactyl they shot. So of course these things went up. They went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so.
What I'm saying is Jesus wrote a dinosaur to work. That's history. It's in the Bible. How to train your dragon. And if you don't believe it, do your own research. Pull up Google. You'll find the picture. I promise. Thank you, John Gleason. God bless the mirror for gifting me this beautiful. Y'all remember when they tried to kill Steven Spielberg for posing with an animatronic triceratops activist? Hit it from the back. Historical facts. Eat my ass, VP. You're down here bailing on the rest of us because you don't want to process your grief and shame like a normal person by drinking and mistreating strangers. No, Rick. It is you who must nibble on cloaca, or bird asshole. Everyone knows what a cloaca is.
Back in the Civil everybody's hanging out. And this is inquisitive and historical fact. So, you know, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge wiggle. Pterodactyl shot. So, of course, these things once, now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so,
Paul Bunyan was sharing some bunions with his pet velociraptor. Whoa. Oh, you thought it was an ox? Roll back the clock. Let me knock the socks off. Historical facts.
Please cut out. You heard me. You a pervert or something? Okay.
What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Tonight? Yes, okay, you guys. What's up, heathens? Oh shoot. How ya doing? Echo, because I had the stream planned. What's up, heathens? How ya doing? I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. We're going to be taking a look at a guy's incoherent rant against atheism. He also just so happens to bring up Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan's a dipshit, and I'm in no way trying to defend Joe Rogan on this, saying that he's bitten a lot of shit about atheists and atheism, and it's not specifically about fucking Joe Rogan, even though he's hyper-fixated on that dipshit. But in any case, we're going to be taking a look at this car theist's rant against atheism tonight. So if y'all want to fuck around and find out what this guy's problem with atheism is, then please stay tuned. Well, apparently I don't have my smooth GE out transition fixed yet. But in any case, I'm so glad to have everybody here tonight. If you will, this stream is already limited to no ads, so we're going to have a hard time reaching everybody that's either recently joined the channel or has been part of the channel for the longest time. So smashing that like button right now and, you know, leaving comments and there and sharing this video out, letting people know that we're having our Friday night live stream will greatly help us out here tonight. If this is your first time here for a Godless Engineer stream, a portion of all super chats, of memberships, and just simply watching the video here will help us donate to charity. We haven't picked a charity for the month of December, but every single month this month we have donated at least one time to charity, and typically it's around about 33% of the money that we make off of Godless Engineers. So if you want to help us do some good, you want to know that, you know, super chat shit is going to good causes, then definitely do a super chat, become a member, or just watch our stuff here on Godless Engineer. Before we get into the actual video tonight, we have some Today I Learned as well as comments, and Brocephus is going to stop by and explain something about cheese. So, if you see, know that one. Anyways, we're gonna go on ahead and get into the Today I Learns. Hold on. Here we go.
Future of cooking? Sous vide.
Meet Sous Vide, the magical all-in-one countertop kitchen robot.
Countertop kitchen robot.
things are finally starting to turn around for Cyberpunk 2077. There's a few different factors going into this, including a recent announcement made by CD Projekt Red, but also on the side of player reactions. And it seems like we're almost setting up for a pretty huge next few months for Cyberpunk, including perhaps a pretty huge next 24 hours. But we'll talk more about that in a moment. As I'm sure many of you heard earlier in 2021, CD Projekt Red was sued by its investors. The investors claiming that they were misled by comments made by CD Projekt Red on the state of Cyberpunk 2077 prior to its release. This has been ongoing for a while, and we just heard recently how CDPR were actually trying to get case dismissed outright. But now, just yesterday, we did get another pretty interesting update on this, and perhaps even a bit of a surprising one. As CD Projekt Red did report on December 8, 2021, it received notification from the law firm representing the company in the case to the effect that the court has suspended proceedings concerning the motion to dismiss due to the parties having entered into negotiations concerning a potential settlement. Should a consensus be reached with regard to the condition of the potential settlement, the parties will file for approval by the court. The decision on whether to approve the settlement and to permit its implementation shall be issued by the court when certain additional formal conditions are satisfied. It should also be noted that entering into negotiations concerning a potential settlement should in no way be construed as acceptance by the company or members of its management board of any allegations expressed in the plaintiff's court filings. So basically, CDPR and the people suing them, their investors, are trying to settle, and seemingly this is not necessarily CDPR admitting that they are at fault in any way or guilty of anything. It seems like this could actually be a really good thing and a huge step in the right direction for CD Projekt Red, especially if this gets finished off before the end of this year. Now, whether or not you think this should happen or if this is the morally correct decision is a completely separate argument. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of CD Projekt Red. But really, CD Projekt Red is already starting to put the bad behind them with Cyberpunk 2077. Public opinion is shifting on the game, and having this lawsuit being done with and not extend into a court battle with things being revealed, a bunch of coverage about what they did wrong, what they admitted, etc., is overall going to be a super positive thing for the company. Following the Black Friday sales for Cyberpunk, it has been booming. The player count on Steam nearly doubled in the past couple of months. Right now, on Steam, they're averaging about 20,000 players and getting close to 30,000 players on weekends. It's not like this is a singular peak. Things are holding. It's been 2 weeks now, and things are still going really well with this game player count-wise. And even a bit better is on Xbox, Cyberpunk 2077 just today or yesterday popped back to the top 50 most played games on Xbox. Granted, right now it's at position 50, so literally the last of the 50, but the last time we actually saw the game get this amount of players was in early May. So this would suggest that on Xbox, Cyberpunk is hitting an 8-month player count high, despite not actually getting a major update since August. This is literally just people trying the game out on sale, but it's not just people trying out the game, but there's been an overwhelming amount of positive reactions to the game. The review scores have only continued to increase over the past couple of weeks. The most easy example is on Steam, but really across all platforms. You just see a ton of positive sentiment, including a ton of positive Reddit posts of people being like, wait, why did everyone say this game was so bad, etc. And CDPR just put it on sale yet again this weekend, so you can find it 50% off again right now. It seems like this is just going to be for this weekend, but it is 50% off everywhere if you're still trying to decide whether or not to try the game. And they're even nominated for 2 Game of the Year awards. That award show is happening tonight. One of them is for Best Music and Score, and the other one is for the Best Role-Playing. I can definitely see it winning for Best Music and Score. A lot of people love the score of Cyberpunk Best Role-Playing. Not sure about that one. Not sure I even agree with the nomination on that one, but that's a different story. And this does put us in an interesting perspective, because we have 2 nominations for this game. I think there's a pretty good
Hey, you know what's better than a $5,000 PC? A $5,000 PC that costs $0. It's time to give you free stuff thanks to our friends at Honey. That's right, you could win a $5,000 computer just by adding Honey to your browser right now at joinhoney.com/Linus.